How do you want to start the year? Like Superman, like Iron Man, or like Spider-Man? Hi, my name is Pejman Azarmina, the founder of Thinkocrats, and I'm going to tell you about how our mental models and dominant way of thinking influences the way we approach and plan for our success. Let's start by doing a quick interview with our 3 selected superheroes. Each represents a distinct way of thinking or mental model that explains success. What's your secret, Superman? We ask. I have a natural or God-given talent. When I discovered and nurtured it, I became successful. How about you, Iron Man? Do you think the same? Of course not. For me, it's all about hard work and science. My success is definitely dependent on working very hard and using my brains. That's interesting. But how about you, Spider-Man? Do you think the same? Not really. Think about me metaphorically. This way you realize that I mainly use my web-based connections to be successful. I care for people and use my network to achieve my goals. Okay, let's have a closer look now on how these 3 mental models work. Superman represents a person who becomes self-aware of his or her talents at some point of his or her life, and the rest flows so naturally. In the story, young Superman didn't know he had those talents and at some point discovered his origin, his talents, and his ability to fly. These are just a few examples of people who rose to the top mainly because of their extraordinary talents. Most people in this category show signs of stardom or greatness at early age, and once their talent is discovered, it flows so naturally that it's very hard to stop them no matter what happens in their lives. As you see in these images, talent is not limited to a particular domain of science or arts. You can see it in politics, business, science, sports, and arts. Looking closer at the story of Iron Man, one thing becomes clear, that he was an engineer by background, he believed and used science and technology to his advantage, and he worked really hard to design and develop his superpowers. A person with Iron Man mental model thinks the same. The emphasis is not just on your talent or who you know, it's predominantly on your brains, hard work, and burning the midnight candle. And now a few examples of people in this category. There is no doubt that these high achievers are talented and networkers as well, but what defines their mental model is the emphasis on hard work and perseverance. The third category represents people who use other people to achieve their goals. They use their contacts, they make new connections, and similar to Spider-Man, they create a web that helps them swing from one place to another. They can move really fast, and their connections is what keeps them from falling. Looking at these examples, the first thing you realize is that their success was initially dependent on knowing someone else, either through family connections or using their talents to network with new people. Another interesting thing about this category is that you may not know them. Similar to Spider-Man that has a mask on his face, some people in this category may be quite obscure and hidden from other people. Family members of celebrities, reality TV stars, talent agents, headhunters, and many senior business leaders achieve success through their networks and connections. One key point before closing this video is that people who are extremely successful usually use a combination of these 3 mental models, and it's completely okay and acceptable to do so. But for a beginner in his or her journey to success, it's better to start from one mental model and maximize its impact before extending to the others. Here are my suggestions. Choose the mental model that feels right to you, something that you are comfortable with and that inspires you in your exciting journey of life. Thank you for listening. My name is Pejman Azarmina, and this was the voice of the Thinkocrats.